Hello students, in today's class we are going to discuss about the topic 2nd MSc 4th semester paper PHS 553 Condensed Matter Physics 3. In that unit 3 we go through the syllabus of paper PHS 553. It consists paramagnetic relaxation and magnetic resonance, thermodynamics of magnetization, paramagnetic susceptibility in an alternating magnetic field, paramagnetic relaxation mechanism and relaxation times, spin lattice relaxation in a two-level system, relation between the susceptibility at high frequency 67 and the spin lattice relaxation time using thermodynamic considerations, paramagnetic resonance, conditions required for paramagnetic resonance absorption, illustration of the principle of paramagnetic resonance using equation motion of magnetic dipole, description of the paramagnetic resonance using Bloch equations, electronic paramagnetic or spin resonance, fine and hyperfine structure in electron resonance, crystal field splitting and the electron paramagnetic resonance of transition group ions, ESR spectrometer, nuclear paramagnetic resonance, nuclear magnetic resonance NMR, introduction, illustration of nuclear magnetic resonance, classical equation of the nuclear magnetic dipole in the rotating coordinate system, Bloch equations, solution of the Bloch equation, weak RF field, NMR line shape and line width, resonance in non-metallic solid, influence of nuclear motion on line width and relaxation, chemical shift, quadrupole effect in NMR, NMR instrumentation and ferromagnetic resonance, introduction, shape effect in ferromagnetic resonance. These are all about your syllabus of unit 3, condensed matter physics 3. Then directly go through the concept of today's class. In today's class, we study the concept of magnetic susceptibility along with one derivation of paramagnetic relaxation or susceptibility in alternating magnetic field. First, magnetic susceptibility. Here, the term susceptibility means possibility of getting something. Here, magnetic susceptibility means possibility of getting something. The magnetic susceptibility, it is a measure of how much a material will become magnetized in an applied magnetic field. Also, it is the ratio of magnetization M. Here, magnetization is the magnetic moment per unit volume to the applied magnetization field intensity H or magnetic field H. It is denoted by the letter Xi. Here magnetic susceptibility which is indicated by the letter Xi, then Xi can be written as M divided by H. M divided by H, where M is the magnetization, where H is the magnetizing field intensity. Then next here magnetization can be written as susceptibility into magnetic field intensity H. Yes, sir. Suppose if we are giving one material to the magnetic field, either that material may be a paramagnetic, diamagnetic or ferromagnetic material. In case of paramagnetic material, the materials which are not strongly attached to the magnet. Examples of the paramagnetic materials are aluminum, magnesium, etc. Such materials are magnetized only when placing on a strong magnetic field and act in the direction of the magnetic field. Here the material which is acted in the direction of the applied magnetic field in the case of paramagnetic material. In case of diamagnetic material, the material which are repelled by the magnets. The material which are repelled by the magnet such as zinc, mercury, lead, copper, silver, bismuth, wood, etc. These are all the example for the diamagnetic material. They are slightly magnetized only when which is placed in a very strong magnetic field and then act in the direction which is opposite to that of the applied magnetic field. In case of ferromagnetic material, the material which are strongly attached by the applied magnetic field or magnet, this is known as a ferromagnetic material. For example, iron, steel, nickel, cobalt, these are all the example for the ferromagnetic material. When the material is placed in a magnetic field, ferromagnetic material is placed in a magnetic field, its value is increased many times as compared to the paramagnetic material and diamagnetic material. Also, main applications of the magnetic susceptibility is it produces a insight into the structure of the material. Also, it provides the insight into the bonding and energy levels. The next classification of the magnetic susceptibility. Here, magnetic susceptibility which is simply classified into two categories. One is paramagnetism, another one is diamagnetism. The most of the material which is responses to an applied magnetic field. If magnetic susceptibility Xi which is greater than 0 is called paramagnetism. However, the magnetic susceptibility value Xi which is less than 0 which is known as a diamagnetism. This is all about the definition of the magnetic susceptibility, its expression, that is Xi is equal to m divided by h. The next also responses of the material such as paramagnetic, diamagnetic, then next ferromagnetic material to the applied magnetic field, also its classification. Here classification of paramagnetism and diamagnetism on the basis of magnetic susceptibility. The next paramagnetic relaxation or susceptibility in alternating magnetic field. Already we know that the nature of the paramagnetic material. Those materials are magnetized only when placing on a strong magnetic field and act in the direction of the magnetic field, which is acted in the direction of the applied magnetic field. When we exposing a material to the magnetic field, when suppose material which is exposing to the magnetic field, then what we find is magnetic dipole moments are created. The next, few magnetic dipoles does not change its direction. Many of them are change their directions to the applied magnetic field. Here, in the absence of an external magnetic field, that is H is equal to 0, then the magnetic dipoles of the paramagnetic material orient at a random direction. There is a random motion of the magnetic dipoles takes place and there is no resultant magnetization takes place because in the absence of the magnetic moment. Go through the diagram. Here first diagram, in the absence of the magnetic field, here H is equal to 0, magnetized field intensity H is equal to 0. At that time magnetic dipoles are in random motion. In the absence of the external magnetic field, magnetic dipoles of the paramagnetic material orients at a random directions and there is no resultant magnetization which is takes place. Then next, when suppose we apply a magnetic field H at that time to a certain period of time t, when we apply a magnetic field H to a certain period of time t, will elapse before the magnetization has reached this equilibrium value, that is known as a ME, where ME is the equilibrium value for the magnetization. Next, this time may be called as a relaxation time. This time is known as a relaxation time, which is indicated by the letter tau, and the change of the magnetization is written as, here we already know that M is the magnetization, then change of the magnetization which is written as dm divided by dt, which is equal to me minus m divided by tau. This is taken as a equation number 1, where m is the equilibrium magnetization and m is the magnetization, tau is the relaxation time, dm by dt is the change of magnetization with respect to the period of time t. This equilibrium which determines the rate of growth of m, suppose if you apply a magnetic field of the time, if we apply a magnetic field with respect to time, then the magnetic field intensity H can be written as, or magnetic field in terms of H, it can be written as H of t, which is equal to Hc H of t, which is equal to Hc plus H naught into cos omega t. This is taken as a equation number 2, where Hc is the constant magnetic field and next omega is the angular frequency. In second diagram, when we apply a magnetic field, the magnetic dipoles are in the applied magnetic field directions. At that time magnetization is increases to a equilibrium state, that is Me. Me is the equilibrium magnetization of the material. The next, magnetization M, the magnetization M lag behind by a phase pi. Then the magnetization in terms of the time can be written as m of t, which is equal to mc plus m naught into cos omega t minus pi. Here minus pi because magnetization value which is lag behind the phase by pi. This is equation number 3. This phenomenon is called paramagnetic relaxation, where mc is the constant magnetization value. Denoting the static susceptibility xi s in equation 3, we can write equation 3 as, denoting the static susceptibility xi s in equation 3, then equation 3 becomes m of t, which is equal to mc is equal to, here magnetization is the product of magnetic susceptibility and magnetic field. So mc, it can be written as a product of magnetic static, magnetic susceptibility, also magnetic field. Here m of t, which is equal to xi s, where xi s is the static susceptibility and constant magnetization with respect to constant magnetic field, so that Hc plus xi s into h naught, because h naught, because here m naught, so we have to apply h naught. Xi s into, instead of m naught we apply h naught. The next, according to trigonometry, we have cos of a minus b is equal to cos a into cos b plus sin a into sin b. Cos a into cos b plus sin a into sin b. So cos of a plus b can be written as cos a into cos b plus sin a into sin b. So cos of omega t minus pi can be written as cos of omega t into cos pi plus sin omega t into sin pi. The next, rearranging this equation, m of t is equal to xi s into hc plus, here multiplying this term to this, here xi s into cos pi, then remaining is h naught into cos omega t. Here xi s into cos pi, here xi s into cos pi, h naught into cos omega t. Then next, this term is multiplied to the another part, that is sin omega t into sin pi, that is xi s into sin pi, then remaining is h naught into sin omega t, where xi is the ratio of the magnetization to the applied magnetized field intensity or magnetic field. And next, here m of t, this equation can be written as m of t, which is equal to xi s into hc plus x dash or psi dash into h naught cos omega t plus xi double dash into h naught into sin omega t, where xi dash is equal to xi s into cos pi, where xi double dash, which is equal to xi s into sin pi. This is taken as a equation number 4, where xi double dash divided by xi dash is equal to xi s sin pi divided by whole thing divided by xi s into cos pi, where xi s term will be cancelled and remaining is sin pi divided by cos pi. We know that sin pi divided by cos pi taken as tan pi, where xi dash is equal to xi s into cos pi, the next xi double dash into xi s into sin pi. Next, for low frequencies, what will happen to the xi dash and xi double dash? For low frequencies, the value of pi becomes 0. For low frequency, value of pi becomes 0. We know that xi double dash is equal to xi s into sin pi. Sin pi, substitute the value of pi. Pi is equal to 0. Sin 0 is equal to 0. 0 into xi s, that means 0. Xi double dash becomes 0 for low frequency. Next is what happens to the xi dash. Xi dash is equal to xi s into cos pi. We know that pi is equal to 0. Cos 0 is equal to, we know that cos 0 is equal to 1. 1 into xi s, that means xi dash is equal to xi s for low frequency. For low frequency, xi dash becomes xi s, xi double dash which is equal to 0. The frequency dependent of frequency dependent of xi dash is called dispersion. Here frequency dependent of xi dash is called dispersion and is referred as high frequency susceptibility, where xi dash, which is known as a high frequency susceptibility. Next, the quantity xi double dash determines the absorption of energy by the specimen. Here xi double dash, which is used to determine the absorption of energy by the specimen. From equation 2 and 3, absorption per second per unit volume A can be written as from by using equation 2 and 3. In equation 2 we have magnetic field equation in terms of time t, that is h of t is equal to hc plus h naught cos omega t. In terms of t, ht is equal to h of t is equal to hc plus h naught cos omega t. And next in equation 3, magnetization. Here magnetization m of t is equal to mc plus m naught cos omega t minus pi. And next, so here A can be written as A is equal to omega divided by 2 pi into closed integral of magnetization into dH, m into dH, that is equal to omega divided by 2 into xi double dash h naught square. This is taken as a equation 5. The next, it is usually convenient to the employing a complex notation that by using equation 2 and 3, h of t is equal to hc plus h naught, instead of cos omega t we have e to the power of I into omega t. This is taken as a equation number 6. Next, in case of equation 3 we have m of t is equal to mc plus m naught into cos of omega t minus pi. So here magnetization in terms of t by using complex notation can be written as m of t, which is equal to mc plus xi star into h naught e to the power of I omega t. This is taken as equation 7, where xi star is equal to xi dash minus I into xi double dash, which is the complex susceptibility equation. Xi star, which is equal to xi dash minus I into xi double dash, which is the complex susceptibility equation, which consists of both real and imaginary terms. Here real term is considered as a xi dash, imaginary term is xi double dash. So xi dash and xi double dash are not independent, or both are dependent to each other, are related to each other. So it is called as Kramers-Kronig or KK relations, because here xi dash and xi double dash are which is dependent to each other. That relation is known as a Kramers and Kronig relation. Therefore, both xi dash and xi double dash are functions of the magnetic field as well as the frequency or time. Therefore, the theory of the paramagnetic relaxation, it consists of here the quantity xi dash and xi double dash should be related to the relaxation time tau. So xi dash and xi double dash should be related to the relaxation time t. Also relaxation time tau must be find an interpretation which is based on the properties of the magnetic atom and the lattice in which they are incorporated.